Hi everyone. Our team project will be focused on the ethics of educational technology. Technology has been a pervasive force on education, and our team thought it would be a great topic to research for our class. In our presentation, we will discuss the history of educational technology, the pros and cons of educational technology, its applications, and its future implications. During the 16th and 17th centuries, students and teachers required structured learning materials that would help educate large amounts of the American population. The European colonists incorporated the use of early forms of technology, such as the hornbook, the sandbox, and printed books into the standard education systems. The primary focus was placed on reading, writing, and arithmetic. Students needed to obtain basic skills that would prepare them to pursue a vocation. The 19th and 20th centuries gave rise to more familiar forms of educational technology, such as typewriters, radio, film, and computers. With each new decade, a technological advancement would encourage the world to participate in the race for knowledge. From blackboards and chalk to overhead projectors, technology in the classroom is intended to improve the overall experience of learning. Learning management systems such as Blackboard and Moodle coincided with the use of the Internet for kindergarten through 12th grade education systems. One of the newer forms of educational technology is cloud technology, which is considered an extension of the Internet. Cloud computing involves multiple users accessing a single server to retrieve and update their data without purchasing several licenses for different applications. Technology has progressed tremendously in order to accommodate the persistent need for societies to grow and learn. Now that technological processes are becoming less visible to users, ethical guidelines are essential to preserving user rights and privacy.
So, as one would expect, there are a lot of benefits of using technology in the classroom. This can extend from grade school to higher education and beyond, from those who have learning disabilities to those who require a more constant flow of communication between them and their instructors. Technology can be used as a way to kind of accentuate the learning process for students. So more specifically for children who are considered at risk, which means children who show problematic behaviors that lead to gaps in learning and development, technology can be used to increase their abilities to take part in more functional activities. So things like storytelling, snack time, etc. More specifically, a resource called assistive technology can be used to increase the functional capabilities of children with disabilities or children who are considered at risk. And teachers who were trained in assistive technology reported an increase in attending behaviors with these students, as well as an increased understanding of following the rules of appropriate behavior and an increased ability to communicate more effectively in the classroom. So in terms of higher education, studies that took a look at the impact of online courses showed that students were able to create great friendships, build interpersonal relationships, and interact more regularly with one another, even though they were behind a screen. And it also showed that students who were enrolled in online educational courses were able to collectively problem solve in more creative ways than they would have if they were inside of a classroom. And just a little bit of a multicultural consideration, students that are from other cultures were able to participate in class discussions in ways that they would have been hesitant to do if they were in an in-class setting. So studies have suggested that the recent breakthrough of utilizing technology in the learning environment has positively changed the learning and teaching process, which means there are more opportunities in higher education. And technology encourages a constant and instantaneous flow of communication between people and their academic institutions. And communication between faculty and students is vital to the success of any student. And social networking and technology has been shown to enhance this relationship. So ultimately, the goal for high school and college educators is to prepare students for entering the workforce. And this can't be done unless they have the tools that they need to be successful in the 21st century, which means that knowing how to use different types of technology is part of the success of their students.
So even though there are pros or benefits to technology in a traditional classroom or even online setting for students and instructors, there still are barriers to keep in mind as well. So instructors are becoming more dependent on these devices and softwares in order to present experiential activities to their classes. Technology does not have the capacity to change the learning environment as a single factor, but digital resources can present knowledge so that instructors can easily teach information while students can easily learn. Instructors are often motivated by technologies due to their methodologies. Teaching and learning strategies can cause a sense of dependency for instructors, but also their students. The role of technology inside the classroom can impact students' honesty policy about completing their own work without the help of an online resource, unless given the permission to do so. When it pertains to homework or even exam preparation, the new devices or software can be tempting to use in order to quote-unquote find the answer or understand the concepts without putting in time to read the textbook or study on one's own timing. Technology can be misused and seen as such a temptation when preparing for exams, quizzes, and also completing homework assignments. Outside of the classroom setting, the role of technology can negatively impact the genuine cross-generational relationships within a family. For one, media consumption has become the highlight of family time, meaning there's less face-to-face, uninterrupted, fully engaged conversations. Technology can be seen as a barrier because it impacts every aspect of our lives, including work, school, and family. And we should definitely be mindful of how much time we spend on social media outlets, electronic media, and how it impacts our daily routine.
Within the realm of technological applications, research has shown that applications can predominantly be broken down within 3 different types. The first type is synchronous and asynchronous learning. Synchronous learning typically refers to just the exchange of ideas and information with one or more participants during the same period. So really focusing on real-time information and real-time learning and more in the here and now. Some examples of synchronous learning are face-to-face discussion, online real-time teacher instruction, Skype conversations, and virtual chat rooms. And as we jump to asynchronous learning is kind of the opposite. So students proceed at their own pace. And a really good primary example of this could be online schooling, online classes, where students are able to kind of go at their own pace. And some typical examples of this type of learning utilization could be emails, blogs, wikis, discussion boards, web-based textbooks, and video courses. Linear learning or computer-based training is more self-paced learning activities, both providing learning stimulus beyond traditional learning methodology from textbook, manual, or classroom-based instruction. And lastly, collaborative learning is pretty self-explanatory, but uses instructional methods designed to encourage or require students to work together on learning tasks. Technological applications, or apps, have more recently come to the forefront when it comes to educational technology due to the convenience, mobility, and accessibility of these tools. So as this trend has occurred, there have come to be a variety of different apps to choose from and utilize. Of some of the most prominent and useful ranges anywhere from everyday software and storage organizations like Google Classroom and Google Drive to more artistic applications like Canva. As these applications might be used inside and outside of the classroom, another very useful app educators and even students enjoy utilizing within the classroom setting is called Kahoot, which is an application that allows educators to create quizzes for students to compete in the moment on information that's just been learned. Therefore, as we have seen this utilization of technological applications take root, there have been studies conducted looking at the overall shift and trends that this means for the use of educational technology overall. Studies have shown that the top 6 current trends when it comes to these applications respectively are custom learning experiences, cloud computing, speech-to-text options, virtual and augmented learning experiences, 3D printing, and learning analytics.
Now that we've discussed some history, background, pros, cons, and some applications of educational technology, my name is Daniel Collins, and we're going to talk about the implications for the future of educational technology. So why does the future matter for educational technology? Technology has shown the future of education by using trends and up-to-date educational methods to answer the wants and needs of educators, students, and other stakeholders involved with education in the world. Technology is making its way through classrooms as educators and developers are creating more and more products that are designed to enhance education. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and educational software are changing the ways students are learning, as well as shaking up educator roles and creating scholarly shifts in teaching approaches and the classroom structure. We have roles in technology. Bernard shares that these roles of technology are focused around certain aspects. Technology is providing a way for learning models to become increasingly personalized. Technology will present some philosophical shifts in education. Even with technology advancing, teachers will be more important in the classroom. Artificial intelligence will play a major role in the future, and students will assume more responsibility in their classrooms. Aside from Bernard's technology information, we have 9 educational technology trends that were shared by the Forbes Technology Council this year. Through interactive classrooms, there are more ways for students and teachers to become involved in the way that they are being taught and the lessons that they're teaching. If we can focus on that interactive part, the interaction comes and it goes with more learning, more hands-on. Improved collaboration. The collaboration between technology of teachers and students will allow them for projects, expanding ideas, and allow them for more home-based learning for the experience of the lessons instead of just sitting in a classroom. Preparation for a tech-based economy. Education has been said to be lagging behind in the adoption of technology advancement. Although jobs have not been envisioned yet, the era of rapid technological change is taking hold, and our youth have to have that essential quality in preparation for tech-based economies. Personalized instruction. Using machine learning and artificial intelligence allows the abilities to modify curriculum so that each student is getting a personalized instruction rather than a one-size-fits-all. Universal access to high quality content. This allows for that high quality education to be given to anybody, not just those who can afford it. This allows for that goal of an education system to be more accessible. Digitized grading systems, although we've seen quite a bit of those develop in the past few years, the time spent on grading exams and assignments really does affect student assessment. because if it's delayed or something happens and the teacher or the educator cannot get done to it in time, it goes by the wayside. Gamification, gaming in lessons is proven to be a huge asset. Advanced learning at home allows for learners to take part in learning of their own pace. Introduction of entrepreneurial skills, this gives them those leading parts to being part of a job market where they will be successful and learning in the same concept. The future of technology and education has some examples and possibilities that are shared through a resource that really focused on what are the things that we're doing, what are the things that we're really focusing on in our current situations. A big part is social media and education, where we allow social media to be part of idea sharing, influencers to learn. iPads and computers have been around for a while, but the more advanced that they're getting and the more that they know and own their own devices, students are able to make those decisions, those split-second skills, to where they have that valuable experience with their own devices. Better simulations and models, while we have 3D printing and information sessions where it allows for simulations, students are learning even more in a physical classroom and in the non-formal settings as well. Global learning, as we're learning in education systems, more going toward that global learning of learning more about the economies in other places. So therefore, learning about that in our own society and our own nation really makes a big part to that. More efficiency in assessments, being able to collect real assessment data rather than giving information feedback. This gives direct feedback and answers questions very quickly. Ebooks are a big part of where a digital textbook or a PDF. There have been studies that have said that ebooks are not efficient. However, the work for that is working to where ebooks are more efficient for younger learners. Epistemic games were allowed those game-like situations to put you in a role of what you would like to do. Say, for instance, you want to be an engineer. You're able to solve problems as an engineer, do information sessions as an engineer, and it gives the real world skills, the high standards, and the professional values through that. The database and the result tracking gives a little bit more of a leeway for teachers and educators to encourage more learning objectives to differentiate their instruction, where it's not really an excuse builder where they can't necessarily not have their assignment when it's assigned to them. Interactive textbooks and case studies is becoming a way of thinking about how it's completely changing. The text and the picture is not the only thing that's available. Now there are web-based assessments, animations, materials, videos, podcasts where they're able to use those and gain more information from those. Digitization of everything, where the student doesn't need to pass note in class or have the full notebook or a paper. They are able to use their online resources. Extended classroom communities where they are able to talk with other places, other schools, other areas where they can share their projects, share their assignments, share what they're going to be doing with their homework. They're able to use the platform and be able to learn better. Flexibility in online learning. Flexibility is a big key to this, where world learning and all of the learning comes together, where it varies, where the abilities and the amount of time that's given to devote to that really does promote the flexibility. Making learning fun again. Not that learning isn't fun ever. The fact is that some students are getting bored in classes. So this is giving way to allow for more forms of content, more forms of learning and teaching, and how fun and meaningful ways it was given to in the past. Cost reduction technology has contributed to significant reductions in costs for accessing education. Everything is available online to an extent to where they are able to do certain things that they weren't in the past. Improved student-teacher interactions. Teachers are starting to use more technology. They keep in touch with their students better. So out of that, they're able to provide a better interaction for the parent, for the student, for the teacher, and to share information in large numbers. Video games has become a big part of real life problems, and it can bring out behavioral things and make people more goal oriented. So if gaming models are able to provide a wide range of information, it's able to initiate students to help problem solving and working toward lifelong learning, which is the next one. Revolutionizing education, lifelong learning is one of those ways to facilitate knowledge and build on the ongoing demands of professional development. Lifelong learning, it should be instilled in students, and it's something that educational technology is providing a very great thing for. Virtual reality, a lot like the gaming system, virtual reality allows you to put the simulations and everything and makes you capable of immersing students in their subject, learning it, discussing it, able to work for that. Live streaming has become one of the biggest topics in public education and is beginning to become one that people are able to ask questions from home in real time. A lot of teachers are going to homework hours, and a lot of information is being shared through their homework hours where they are allowed to record it, or they could have that information session where they can ask those live questions. And differentiated assignments to a learning style. To be able to have a different learning style is a big part of how students learn. Learning each of their students' learning style allows a teacher and an educator to become better equipped to teach their students. As we talk about these implications and we talk about the things that are provided for us, we have to remember that the focus on this research was to provide educational technologies and the many facets that are incorporated into the history, the uses, the disadvantages, the applications, and the implications for the future. Through the guided work of the research questions, our information has given a solid basis for how educational technology is and will continue to grow into a leading market for the success of a student and an educator worldwide. Even though some of the research negates the implication that technology is being adopted rapidly, we have to take into consideration that not every nation in the world has capabilities and necessities to advance their educational systems like the US. While we focus on how critical thinking, working, and soft skills are important for the future, we have to keep in mind that employers are losing the ability to hire some workers because they have no skills or the types of work-based skills that they need. So therefore, the employers are having to overlook them. Since the workforce provides so much to an economy, the need to push the advancements and adoption rates in today's society should take precedent for any education system, and that educational technology should allow for the use of those technologies that we have discussed in this information. Thank you very much for your time and attention to our educational technology presentation.